You think you know betrayal? Try catching your wife cheating red-handed, only for her to turn around days later, look you dead in the eye, and demand you give her the house and alimony. You owe me, she actually hissed. The audacity was breathtaking. But the real kicker? The devastating weapon I used to shut down her demands was a prenup her own parents forced me to sign years ago. Oh, the irony. Stick around for this wild ride, and if you love these kinds of unbelievable real-life stories, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss one. My name is Noah. 5 years ago, I married Sophia. We met in college. She had this incredible energy, vibrant, confident. She came from money, the kind with doctors and lawyers in the family tree. Me? Different world entirely. Scholarship kid, juggling jobs, surviving on ramen noodles. Her parents, Eleanor and Richard, were always polite, but there was this underlying skepticism, like they were just waiting for the working-class guy to mess up, to prove unworthy of their daughter. Before the wedding, they pulled me aside for the talk, the prenup. It wasn't gentle suggestion. It was a condition. And let's be clear, it wasn't about protecting us. It was purely about shielding Sophia's future inheritance, any family gifts, from me. They even paid for my lawyer. Some guy who barely glanced at it called it standard for wealthy families protecting assets. It felt degrading, a clear vote of no confidence before we even said, I do. But I loved Sophia. I wanted the life we talked about. So I signed the DMN thing, burying it in a file cabinet, thinking it was just forgotten paperwork. A massive mistake in reading the room? Maybe. Or maybe considering how things ended, it was the best mistake I ever made. Life moved on. I busted my ass in tech sales, started climbing the ladder, making good money. We bought a house 2 years ago. Her parents made a grand gesture, gifting Sophia a significant chunk for the down payment, all meticulously documented as her separate property naturally. But I paid the mortgage every single month. I paid the property taxes, the insurance. I funded the renovations that made it our home. I thought we were building a life, a partnership. Last Tuesday proved how wrong I was. My work trip ended early. I walked into our house, excited to surprise Sophia, and found the surprise was on me, in our bedroom, with Liam, some guy from her book club. There was no shouting, no immediate rage, just this sudden, crushing, icy silence in my head. The world just tilted sideways. Liam scrambled for his clothes, practically vanishing into thin air. Sophia started crying, clutching the sheets, sputtering the classic lines. Noah, wait! It's not what it looks like. It's a misunderstanding. My voice, when it finally came out, felt dead. Flat. Really? Because it looks exactly like you're naked in our bed with another man. Get dressed. We need to talk. The talk was painful, predictable, lots of tears, all hers, flimsy apologies about a terrible mistake, how she didn't know what she was thinking. But zero real accountability, 0 sense. She understood the depth of the wound. I told her calmly that it was over, done. The trust wasn't just broken, it was obliterated. There was no coming back from this. She went to her parents for a couple of days, then she came back yesterday. While I was trying, and failing, to work from home, my focus completely shot. She sat down at the kitchen island, looking pale, but weirdly defiant. So, she started, what happens now, Noah? With everything. We get divorced, Sophia, I said, keeping my voice level. She took this shaky breath. Okay, but I need stability. I can't just be thrown out. This house, I need the house. I just stared at her, speechless for a second. You need the house? After what you did in it? Anger flashed in her eyes then. Don't you dare try to blame this all on me. Maybe if you weren't working constantly. I built a home here. I supported you when you were struggling. My parents helped buy this place. Supported me? I shot back. I paid the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance. Your parents gifted you money, which you kept entirely separate. Her voice started rising then, the fake vulnerability cracking wide open, revealing the pure, unadulterated entitlement underneath, probably after a good coaching session from Eleanor and Richard. And what about alimony? She demanded. I have a certain lifestyle. I sacrificed my own ambitions for this marriage. You think I can just live on my part-time gallery job salary? You owe me, Noah. You owe me. It was like a switch flipped inside me. The betrayal was one thing. This immediate pivot to greedy demands, the utter lack of shame, it was nauseating. I felt physically sick. Her parents chimed in later, of course. Eleanor called, less overtly demanding initially, more manipulative. Noah, this is dreadful. Sophia is beside herself. But we need to be practical. She needs support. We trust you'll do the right thing by her. Richard's email was blunter, implying my career success was thanks to their connections, and I shouldn't forget it. The message was crystal clear. Make this easy for Sophia. Pay up. Keep quiet. I haven't mentioned the prenup yet. Not to any of them. Need to keep a clear head. Play this smart, not loud, but the whiplash, from tearful mistake to entitled demands in 48 hours. It felt like I was dealing with a complete stranger. Okay, fast forward 10 days. 10 brutal days. I hired Olivia, a divorce lawyer who seemed sharp, no nonsense, perfect. I laid out the whole ugly story, the cheating, the demands, and then the prenup. I showed it to her. Her eyebrows shot up. Well, isn't this interesting? She murmured, scanning it. And Sophia's parents insisted on this? The irony, I said, is thicker than concrete. Olivia confirmed it looked incredibly strong. Clear clauses on separate property. A solid alimony waiver. She warned they'd likely try to challenge it, claim I pressured Sophia, or it was unfair. But given her parents were the driving force, and even provided her lawyer back then, a very long shot. Her advice, stay quiet about it for now, document everything. Sophia was still living in the house, making the atmosphere absolutely toxic. Constant sighs, passive-aggressive comments, playing sad breakup songs at full volume. She claimed she was looking for places, but needed time. Meanwhile, I felt like a hostage in my own home. Her friend Chloe even texted me this long guilt trip message about how heartbroken Sophia was and how cruel I was being by, expecting the woman who blew up our marriage to eventually move out. Then the parental pressure escalated. Eleanor and Richard clearly got over any shock about the cheating, if they ever felt any, and went into full protect Sophia's lifestyle mode. Daily calls. Noah, you need to provide for her. Don't let bitterness cloud your judgment. Think about the life she's accustomed to. It took every ounce of my willpower not to just scream into the phone and hang up. And then Sophia pulled a stunt that just solidified my resolve. Came home last Thursday, put my key in the lock, it wouldn't turn. My heart sank. I saw a locksmith van pulling away down the street. I raced around back, saw Sophia through the kitchen window, looking infuriatingly smug. I confronted the locksmith as he got into his van. Did you just change the locks on that house? He looked nervous. Yeah, the lady said. Did she show you proof of ownership? I interrupted, trying to keep my voice steady. Or just claim she lived there? She lives there, he stammered. Showed me mail. Well, I live here too, I said, pulling out my ID and showing him the digital copy of the deed on my phone. I'm on the deed, the mortgage. She just tried to illegally lock me out. Sophia appeared at the door then, yelling, Noah, stop harassing him! I told you I don't feel safe. I ignored her, focused on the locksmith. You need proof of ownership or a court order for an eviction lockout, which she doesn't have. Show him the deed, Sophia. Oh, wait. The locksmith went pale, realizing the legal minefield he'd almost stepped into. He apologized profusely to me, quickly restored the old lock, and basically peeled out of there like his van was on fire. Sophia was incandescent with rage, screaming about how I'd humiliated her. I immediately called the non-emergency line, got an incident report, filed documenting the attempted illegal eviction. The officer confirmed to Sophia she couldn't lock me out. Paper trail is everything. The sheer nerve. It was like living in a different reality where infidelity gets you rewarded. The numbness I'd felt initially, gone. Replaced by this cold, simmering rage and a grim sense of purpose. Olivia logged everything. The countdown had begun. And now, it's over. Finally. I'm pouring a large whiskey as I tell you this, because, Damon, I earned it. The air in this house finally feels breathable again. The meeting last week, wow, it was held at Olivia's office. Me, Olivia, Sophia, her lawyer, some slick older guy named Davies, and surprise, surprise, Eleanor and Richard tagged along for moral support. Read intimidation tactics and making sure Sophia got the biggest possible payout. Mr. Davies started, laying out their demands like it was all perfectly reasonable. Forced sale of the house, 50-50 equity split after her parents' down payment gift was returned to her first, Of course, $5,000 a month in alimony for 5 years. Half my retirement funds accumulated during the marriage. The newer car. He droned on about Sophia's contributions, lifestyle maintenance, the usual divorce playbook. He even vaguely acknowledged a prenup existed, but hinted they'd challenge its validity, maybe argue about alimony given the circumstances, meaning her cheating somehow entitled her to more. Sophia looked nervous but determined, her parents nodding like approving statues. Olivia let him finish his whole performance. Then, calmly, she distributed copies of the prenup. "Mr. Davies," she said, her voice smooth as ice, "while we appreciate your client's position, this prenuptial agreement, initiated and insisted upon by Mr. and Mrs. Richard, I believe, seems quite clear on these points." She gestured to the document. "Perhaps you can show me where it allows for the alimony waiver to be overturned due to infidelity by the party seeking support, or where it suggests separate property contributions to the marital home should be treated as joint equity upon dissolution." You could literally see Davies's face tighten as he scanned the pages. Sophia went white as a sheet. Eleanor started fidgeting. Davies cleared his throat. "Well, regarding Clause 7C, the alimony waiver, we could potentially argue—" Olivia cut him off, politely but firmly. "You could argue it. But given that both parties had independent counsel, full financial disclosure was made, as the appendices clearly show, and the party now seeking to invalidate the agreement is the one whose parents demanded it in the first place. The threshold for unconscionability or duress seems, shall we say, exceptionally unlikely to be met. Wouldn't you agree?" She didn't stop there. She pointed to the specific clauses detailing how separate property contributions, like my documented mortgage payments from my salary and her parents' gift to her, would be treated. Davies visibly deflated. He knew. He had absolutely nothing. That's when Sophia finally snapped, her voice low and shaking with fury, directed straight at me. "You planned this. You let me sign that knowing this would happen." I met her gaze, tired but firm. "No, Sophia, your parents planned this. To protect you. You cheated. You demanded things you weren't entitled to, even without this prenup, let alone with it. This isn't my plan. This is the consequence, laid out, step by step, in the document you and your parents wanted." Eleanor sputtered. "This isn't fair. We need to fight this." Richard just glared, silent, furious. Mr. Davies looked like he wished the floor would swallow him whole, probably furious at being blindsided by his own client's family history. He mumbled something about needing to confer with his client, and just like that, the demands evaporated. Poof. Gone. Davies called Olivia the next day. All major demands withdrawn. They had zero leverage, and they knew it. Sophia was out of the house in less than a week. No fight left. Last I heard, she's back in her childhood bedroom at Mommy and Daddy's place. Imagine those dinner conversations. I had the locks changed, properly this time, by a locksmith who checked my ID and deed meticulously. That peace of mind? Priceless. The house? Olivia walked Davies through the financials and the prenup again. My mortgage payments, taxes, renovation costs, all documented from my separate income. Her parents' gift, that remains her separate property interest, basically like a small lien. But the vast majority of the equity, the value built during the marriage, tied directly to my contributions, protected as my separate property growth under the specific terms they wrote. Mr. Davies couldn't argue. I'm keeping the house. Her parents, in their attempt to protect her inheritance from me, essentially guaranteed I'd keep the marital home we lived in. Oh, the delicious, unintended irony. The story got out naturally. Cheating is one thing, but the entitled demands followed by the public prenup smackdown? Brutal. Mutual friends are keeping their distance from her. Even Chloe apparently texted Sophia something like, "I told you this was messy," and went silent. Liam vanished like a ghost. Good riddance. And her parents? Rumor has it they are deeply embarrassed, not just by Sophia's behavior, but by how their own controlling strategy backfired so spectacularly, making them look foolish and incompetent. Things are apparently very frosty over there. The divorce is proceeding uncontested now, based strictly on the prenup terms. Minimal cost, minimal drama. I sold off the little bit of junk she left behind, sent her a small check for her share of the few genuinely joint items we owned. Then I blocked them all. Sophia, Eleanor, Richard. The quiet in the house is still strange sometimes. There's an ache, yeah, sadness for the future I thought we were building, but mostly, it's relief. Exhaustion, that constant tension, the fighting, the manipulation, it took a huge toll. Starting therapy was the right call. Reconnecting with friends who actually give a damn about me, not my wallet or connections. This wasn't about revenge. It was about consequences. Her choices, her entitlement, her parents meddling. It all led here. The prenup they created became the instrument of accountability. I just enforced the terms they wrote. And honestly, it feels like justice. Quiet, definitive, and finally, peace.